Welcome back to the layout. So I'm getting ready to glue on the top of the tunnel mountain. So before I do that, I just wanted to show you what I've done inside of it before it's sealed up forever. So I went ahead and started doing the sculpt and mold here and glued in the tunnel portals. I painted the inside walls of the tunnel. At first I did this tan color, which is going to be my base color for all of the scenery, but then I decided to paint the walls gray to the same color as the tunnel portals. I went back and painted those again. And then I went ahead and started ballasting the track just in here, and really just the parts that are visible from the portals. So I used, I first used an eyedropper to wet the ballast with 91% isopropyl alcohol. This is the ballast that I'm using. It's just Woodland Scenic's fine gray ballast. For the rest of the layout, I might actually get some darker ballast and mix it in with this, because this is a little bit gray, maybe not quite dark enough, not as realistic. But this is in the tunnel, so it's not really visible anyways, but I just wanted to go ahead and do this kind of as an experiment anyways, because I've never ballasted before, and this is all going to be covered up anyway, so if it doesn't look great, it's fine. I think I probably used too much of it on the inside of the rails, because I went back and I used my knife here to scrape off a lot of it that had ended up being glued to the inside of the rails. I didn't want you don't want it glued there because you don't want the trains to derail, because that's where the wheels are hitting the rails. So I had to go through and scrape off a lot of the little rocks that had glued in there, and that took off some of the paint too. So I think for the rest of the layout I need to be a little more meticulous and careful to not get any ballast on the sides of the rails before I put the glue down. But anyway, after I put the isopropyl alcohol down, I mixed up regular Elmer's glue with water. I did 50-50, and I did it by weight. And then I mixed that up and then used an eyedropper to drench it all. So now it's all dried. I've ran a train through it and run a car through it on both tracks, and it seems to be fine after I went through and scraped the edges of the rails just to make sure that it was clean. So now this is the top piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this down with the caulk there. And this, you can kind of see here on the back, this is the little hole that I can, access portal hole here that I can reach in, and if a train derails in there, it gives me a little bit of access to try to get to it. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down, and then I'll be back. Alright, so the top of the tunnel mountain is gluing down now, so I'll leave those books on it. But another thing over here that I've been working on is this overpass. So there's an overpass that's going to go across here. It's kind of hard to tell, but there's going to be a road right here that goes up, and if you look at one of my older videos, you can kind of see the foam underneath that created the slope before I put all the sculpt and mold down. But there's going to be an overpass here. It's just going to be like a regular highway overpass. So I designed it and started 3D printing it out. So I've got two of the pieces printed already. So you can kind of see I have the I-beams there as part of it. There's the roadbed, and then there's the side walls. There's no sidewalk. This is going to be more of a highway. It's going to go kind of like right here, and it is curved slightly. So I still have to print one more end piece to go on the end, but you can kind of see the design there. And then I just went ahead and hot glued these two pieces together, and I used the tip of the hot glue gun to kind of smear the glue across, because I think this side of this piece was on the build plate and it wasn't completely flat because the edges kind of curled up a little bit maybe, so I sanded it down a little bit, but then I used the hot glue to kind of fill it in. The plan is that I'm going to spray paint this whole piece like a gray concrete color eventually, but at any rate, I got to print one more end piece, and then I need to design the center pillar. So I already kind of made this as a test beforehand, but it was way too tall. I want to just have two pillars to try to not obstruct the view of the trains as much, and it should look fine with just two pillars. So that's kind of the idea. Over here I use Onshape as my CAD program. So this is the entire model. You can kind of see these are the planes that I used to split it into 3 sections. And if you look at this, this is kind of the cross section of it. Basically just made this cross section and then used like the sweep function and swept it along this curve that I had already created in a separate sketch. So that's kind of how that is. The goal is that I'm gonna buy some N scale like wire fencing and put that on the top on each side to make it look a little more realistic. But this road is gonna be just a 2-lane road, 1 lane in each direction, and then there's gonna be a bike lane too on each side because I really love biking and I want to represent that on my layout. So all of my roads are going to have bike lanes on them, and then there's actually going to be a bike path, like one of those multi-use trails somewhere over here. I'm not sure if I might just have it kind of go at an angle here. I might have it cross the tracks. I don't know yet, but we'll figure that out later. I think that'll just be a cool little detail. So that's what I've been working on. So I'll be back when I have some more progress done. Thanks for watching.